After you've been broken up with, your ex can often think that you will just wait forever or that you'll be a permanent option for them. But when you don't participate in their life, they actually have to start asking themselves some difficult questions. And I'm going to go over some of those today, but primarily it's going to be that they will have questions. Because if they assume you will wait forever, then they kind of think they have all the answers. And it's kind of like a great novel. If you get all the questions answered in chapter 1 or chapter 2 or chapter 3, what do? You stop reading. And yet the writer is very comfortable frustrating you, opening questions without answering them because they know that that will keep you reading until the final chapter. And so if you make yourself completely available to your ex and you continue to participate in their life, then they will think that they have all the answers and there will be nothing pulling them towards you. And I'm going to talk about that in this video. Number 1, waiting sends a message if. And that's if you're not just waiting, hoping they'll come back, stopping your life, but you're actually focused somewhere else. And some people will say, well, how will they know? Well, first of all, they may not know yet, but they may know later. And that's because at some point in the future, hopefully they will be interacting with you and they will be able to sense a difference where you've improved yourself. And that's where they can actually feel something quite unique. And I'm going to get into that in another point here in this lesson. But if you're familiar with the stages I talk about after a breakup that the person who does the dumping typically goes through, the first one is relief. And they don't think about these things. That's why it often seems so horrible to the person who's been dumped, because it seems like your ex doesn't even care, like they are even happy to get on with their life. And of course, they'll tell you how they're struggling with it. They might even show some emotional difficulty with it. But usually there is a grief stage after they get over the initial shock of the breakup. And that usually does not take that long, but it can. But they do find some form of relief, mostly because they've gotten it over with. And even the difficult things we don't want to do, once we get them over with, there is some joy to the completion of that. And so usually it's not that they are rejoicing that they're rid of you. It's more that they are just glad they got that over with and they think that there's something new available to them in their life. And that can be very exciting. But if you stay silent, you don't participate in their life, that means you don't like their social posts, you don't watch their stories, you don't send those texts, how's your week going? Are you feeling any different? I just wanted you to know that I've improved myself in 5 ways this week. Don't do that. It comes across as you were just trying to say to them, am I good enough for you now? Plus, change that soon is not believable. No one makes huge permanent changes in a few days. It usually comes about over a long period of time. And so don't fall for the temptation of thinking that right after the breakup, you can tell them that you have completely changed yourself and all the habits maybe that they complained about. That's usually not the primary issue anyway, because if attraction is high enough, people don't care about your bad habits as much. And sometimes not at all, especially if it's a small matter. A lot of times that's just an excuse that they think you can't argue with. But your silence and your waiting, meaning that you are refusing to participate in their life while you two are broken up under their own decision. That is the kind of waiting that I'm talking about. And if they can see that, it can cause them to ask those questions that they cannot get an answer to because you're being silent. And so what will they do? They might reach out. They might check your social media. That's why it's so important. Do not social pout. Don't post those memes on social media about how disappointed you are with someone or how you will rise above it or how this really shows you who your true friends are or anything showing your pain. Don't do it, because that just tells them that you are still there, you are still an option, and that you would love to get back together with them. And that may seem attractive to you. Some people even say, I want them to know that I love them and that I will take them back. And that is a romantic thought. That's a romantic feeling because you still love them and you still feel the same. In fact, you probably feel a lot more intense, maybe even obsessed about them and with them than you did before the breakup. A lot of times I've even had clients who tell me that they are not happy with their relationship. They're thinking about breaking up with this person and they want to talk to me about that. And then a few weeks later, they think this is the love of their life because this person has broken up with them. And now they want this person back. And so try your best to look inside yourself without the emotions that you're feeling and to see what's really going on and what's really happening in your situation. That's what I try to do with my content. But your silence, using the no contact rule, it causes them to wonder about you and to ask questions because they're not part of your life anymore. And even if you think, well, they don't want me, they're not attracted to me like they were, why would they be interested in that? It's just natural for them to be because their life has been interrupted. They were in a relationship, they had emotional intimacy with you, they had history with you, they probably felt like you were family to a very large degree. And a lot of times people who do the breaking up don't realize how difficult it's going to be on them once they get past the relief stage. So keep that in mind, that this is not something where they are just going to get a free pass, smooth sailing, and they're going to stay in the relief stage forever. They're going to wonder, they're going to look back, and when they're not hearing from you, when they're not seeing any sorrow or grief from you on social media, and when you're not talking to their friends about how difficult it is and they're not hearing that, that's when they can have those questions like, maybe he's not a permanent option, or maybe she's not a permanent option, and maybe I better figure myself out, or I'm going to lose them and not have a choice in the matter. Number 2, they're patient until you are gone. As long as you're emotionally available, they can stall. And that's very common for someone to do who's broken up with somebody. They can feel the desire to be with you again. They can want the relationship back, but they can stall if they think they will be able to get you back easily because they know how it looks. If they break up with you and then 2 weeks later they want to get back together, they know that looks kind of crazy. It looks unstable. It makes them look bad. And of course, you're thinking, I don't care. You won't look bad. I'll be grateful to have you back. I'll be happy to have you back. But they're not thinking about it that way. Plus, they know they felt differently just a few weeks ago. And so a mature person who can look at that and say, wow, I felt one way a few weeks ago. I feel differently today. Maybe I should just do nothing. They will be comfortable doing nothing, stalling, even feeling like they are paralyzed to make a move or a decision because they feel like they could change their mind again. That's part of maturity, is not making decisions when you realize you're not sure. And as long as they think that you're just an option, they don't have to. That's why it's so important to give them no information. They will start to be drawn to the idea they could be replaced and that you're moving on with your life. Because think about it. What do you think when you don't hear from them? You think, oh, they are just going out. They are having more fun than any human being has ever had. They're being hit on by all these other people who are romantically interested in them, and they're just picking between all these people. You just assume these horrible things when you're not hearing from them because you figure that if they were focused on you, they would be reaching out to you. So they must be focused elsewhere. That's what your ex will think too. Good. That's great motivation to stay silent and to not participate in their life. Before I get to point number 3, my reunion blueprint is only $7, and you can get it at reunionblueprint.com. It's just $7. It's a guide to help you get your ex back. It's $7, and it's videos from me on getting your ex back. And it won't be $7 forever. It's an introductory product, and I suggest you get it while it's just $7. You can also book a coaching session with me or a coach on my staff at myexbackcoach.com, and you'll see the navigation link for that. It's myexbackcoach.com. You can book a coaching session with me or a coach on my staff about getting your ex back, saving your marriage, strengthening your relationship, being more attractive, and being able to find the love of your life. You can do that at myexbackcoach.com. Thank you for listening to my commercial and for your support. Number 3, their ego counts on you staying put. When someone thinks they have a lot of options, what's interesting is they rarely have as many options as they think. People post pictures on social media today and they get all these likes and they think that means that if they wanted to, that they have hundreds or thousands or millions of options, but it really doesn't work that way. And most of us know that. But if you show your pain to your ex, you continue to try to talk them into getting back together, you won't stay away from them, they begin to think that they are supremely attractive and that you are less than them and that they need to find someone who's on their level of attractiveness or at least closer to it because they are just so dang sexy, right? That's how they can feel after breaking up with you. That's why it's so important that you don't feed that concept. You don't let them think that you are just so far beneath them because even after they've broken up with you, you beg for them back. You beg for the person who probably was somewhat cruel to you when they broke up with you, or someone who would not work on the relationship That's the person you're trying to get back. When someone's broken up with you, what they're saying to you is, I'm not going to give you a chance. I'm not going to give us a chance. I'm going to just toss it aside, not work on it, throw my commitment to the curb, and walk away. And you're saying, more please. So keep that in mind, that you are trying to get back together with someone who's willing to walk away and not work on it and not give it a chance and treat it like it's cheap and they can go find someone else. And so when you tell them that, when you give them that message that says, you treated me this way, you walked away from me, you gave up on us, please come back to me and do that some more. That's kind of what it comes across as. And I know that's not what you're thinking. You're thinking, we will figure this out. We will work this out. I will reattract them and talk them into it. And then we will be fine and this will never happen again. They will not view it that way. They will view it as you are begging for them because they are so attractive. And that means they are extremely attractive to a lot of other people too. And they can go sit there and let the people walk up, present their case for getting to be with them, and they can decide as though they are royalty. And you don't want to be part of that. Do not feed their ego. Their ego counts on you staying put. And by staying put, I mean that you are kind of at their feet begging and you remain there. When you stop participating in their life, when you use the no contact rule, that's when you're not staying put. That's when they have to actually wonder if you are moving on, if you can move on. And showing them that you can stay away is the first step to that, because if they are as attractive as they believe they are, and a lot of people after a breakup will have that surge of feeling super attractive because they were the one who dismissed you, and people tend to argue with me about that, but it is the case. When you break up with someone and the other person wants to be with you so bad, who do you think feels more attractive? Let's just be honest. That's the reality of the situation, and they will think they deserve better, as though people are shiny commodities and they can toss you aside and go buy a brand new one. It's a sad thing. And I, of all people, understand that. When you use the no contact rule, you allow them to think that you're capable of moving on because you're capable of staying away. And that suggests maybe they're not as attractive as they thought they were. And that's key to getting them off cloud nine in breakup land and Reliefville, to consider what they lost, what they gave away, and to reflect on the good times that you two had. But that doesn't come until you stop participating in their life. Number 4, if they reach out, this is super important, because even then they want to believe that they were that attractive and that you were just an option. Who doesn't want to think that it's going to be easy no matter what they do? See, they think if they break up with you, you'll be a permanent option. Therefore, it's easy. They can go try out other people. They can go see what options they do have, as though they're going to upgrade you like you're a cell phone. And when it doesn't work out that way, or at least when they start to think that you are not a permanent option, they can be reattracted to you because your value goes up and because they fear being replaced or fear losing you. But when they come back to you and you take them back too quickly, it can fade out. I see it a lot. I mean, I've seen it thousands of times. It feels so good when they come back to you, they want to get back together, and you think, I would be a fool not to just take them back and we can go on with our life and forget that this breakup ever happened and things will be wonderful going forward. Most of those people experience the breakup again. They have the horror of watching the person they love lose their feelings for them again. And that's because you took them back too quickly. It's best to show doubt when they start talking to you again, and to say something like, I'm not sure what I want. Those exact words. And then to say, but I can take it one day at a time. Or we can go one day at a time and I'll see how I feel later on. Something so that they don't feel like they got it all back at once, and that they kind of have to earn their place in your life back from you. That retains your value, and it causes them to invest in you, which will cause them to view you and the relationship with you as more valuable. So that is very much so what I suggest you do when they start talking to you again. And if they become kind of direct and say, I made a mistake, will you please take me back? Again, I'm not saying that you say no. I'm saying that you say, I'm not sure. I don't know what I want right now, but I'm willing to take it one day at a time. That's what I can offer you right now. That's what you would say. And it works much better in terms of the long-term prospects of the relationship with this person. Number 5, you aren't the same person that they left. This is important for them to see. If you have more confidence about you, maybe you had become too accommodating in the relationship. Maybe you had gotten out of balance where the other person was treated by you as though they were superior to you. Let's do everything you want to do. And let's have some double standards where when you do something, it's no problem. But if I were to do the same thing, you would be furious at me and I'd be in trouble. If the relationship is out of balance like that, and you continue in those dynamics when they come back, you will lose them again. Attraction will fall again. They've got to see that you are a different person. That means that you do improve what you need to improve, and that they can see that you are different now. That's very important, because they will actually wonder to themselves, or very possibly they will wonder to themselves, do I deserve this person now? Can I get them back now? They have improved. They're stronger than I remember. Am I good enough for them now? These are wonderful things that you really want your ex thinking if they broke up with you. Remember to get my Reunion Blueprint, $7 at reunionblueprint.com. Book a coaching session with me. Let's have a talk instead of you just listening to me. You can do that at myexbackcoach.com and click on coaching. Thank you for watching and listening to my content. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up and please share it with someone who's going through a breakup. I appreciate your recommendations. On a lot of coaching sessions, people will say, my friend told me I needed to talk to you, and that means the world to me. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave those below. This has been Coach Lee, and as always, thank you for watching.